Hello everybody! Today we are going to make couple different sculptures. Let's start with umbrella. To make this umbrella I'm going to inflate 5 different colored balloons leaving about 3-inch flat tail. To make this sculpture we're going to use the same waving technique as described in previously published instruction Fabric 8 or surfboard. You can find link to this instruction on my website fewdoit.com. We're going to work all 5 balloons in exactly the same way. Twist the first about thumbnail size bubble. Lock the free end of the first bubble with the nozzle of the second balloon. Twist the first bubble of the second balloon. Lock its free end with the nozzle of the third balloon. Twist the first bubble of the third balloon. Lock its free end with the nozzle of the fourth balloon. We work all 5 balloons in exactly the same way. We are making the first row. Try to make all bubbles of the first row of the same size, about thumbnail size. I use balloons of different colors just for convenience of this instruction. You can use balloons of different colors, or you can even use all balloons of one color. Here we lock the nozzle of the first balloon with the free end of the first bubble of the last balloon. We have made the first row. Now we work the second row. Twist the second about thumbnail size bubble. Then we twist the third bubble about 2-inch long size. I'm going to work around the sculpture in clockwise direction. Twist the second yellow bubble about thumbnail size. Lock the free end of the second yellow bubble with the free end of the third white bubble. We're going to twist all large bubbles of the second row of about the same 5-inch long size. In this example we're connecting balloons to each other, working bubbles around the sculpture in clockwise direction, making zigzag or steps color pattern. In this example I'm going to increase size of large bubbles in each row, making it about 2-inch longer than in previous one. Right now we have to lock the free end of the last third bubble of the last balloon between the second and the third bubbles of the first balloon of the second row. We have made the second row. Our sculpture already has a bowl shape. Now we are going to work the third row. Twist the fourth about thumbnail size bubble. Twist the fifth bubble about 5-inch long. All large bubbles of the third row we're going to twist about 5-inch long. We connect bubbles of the third row, working around the sculpture in clockwise direction. You already can see the zigzag color pattern we're making. We can use this woven technique to make sculptures of different sizes. It could be very small, consisting of just couple rows, or you can make it very large, making as many rows as you want. If necessary, you can always add new set of balloons. Using this woven technique we can also make sculptures of different shapes. We can use it to make bowls, vase, hats, furniture, dresses, different balloon animals. You can use it to make literally anything and everything. In previously published instruction Fabric 8, for example, we use just 2 balloons working in this fashion to make surfboard and some other sculptures. In this example I am going to use just 5 balloons, and here we have made the last row. Now I have to cut off the rest of the balloons, tie off the ends. Congratulations, we have made a basket or bowl. I'm going to use it to make an umbrella. I have already prepared a simple 1 balloon sword, which is I'm going to use in this example as a handle for the umbrella. You have to force the very tip of the sword through the loop of bubbles of the first row. Congratulations, we have made an umbrella. In the following example I'm going to use 4 balloons to make a prism or a diamond. Inflate 4 different color balloons leaving about 3-inch flat tail. In this example we're going to tie nozzles of all 4 balloons in one knot. This time we're going to make different color pattern. Once again we're working all balloons in the same way. In each row we will make bubbles of the same size. Twist the first about 1-inch long bubble, then we twist the second about 2-inch long size bubble. Lock free end of the second bubble of the first balloon with the free end of the first bubble of the next balloon. Work in clockwise direction around the sculpture. Here we have to lock free end of the second bubble of the last balloon between the first and second bubbles of the first balloon. We have made the first row. In this example, I'm going to increase size of large bubbles of each following row, making it about 2 inches longer than in previous row. Also in this example, we're going to connect bubbles of every other row working in counterclockwise direction around the sculpture. Webbing balloons in this way, we're going to make different color pattern. Every side of our diamond will have different color. So basically we keep long bubbles of the same color next to each other. The long bubbles of this row I'm making about 4, maybe 5 inch long size. Following the same pattern, I'm going to increase size of large bubbles of the next row, making it about 6, maybe 7 inch long. As I mentioned before, we can work in this fashion using this weaving technique to make sculptures of very different sizes. To make larger size sculpture, all you have to do just add new set of balloons as necessary. To make sculptures of different shapes, we can use less number of balloons, and also we can change size of bubbles, and that's exactly what we are going to do in this example. So far in this example we have made a sculpture that has pyramid shape. We can use it as a roof for a dollhouse, or use it as a bowl or basket. Starting from this row, I'm decreasing size of large bubbles in each row, making it about 2 inches shorter than we made large bubbles in previous row. The bottom part of our sculpture will be exactly the same as the top part of our sculpture, like a mirror reflection. We can make balloon sculptures of very different shapes using this weaving technique, working with different number of balloons, changing size of large bubbles as necessary. Our imagination is the only limit of what we can do with this weaving technique. In this example, I'm going to make the last row of our sculpture in exactly the same way as we made the first row. So the free ends of the last bubbles of all 4 balloons we're going to lock in one lock twist. Congratulations, we have made a diamond. We can use it as a piece. I'm going to cut off the rest of the balloons, tie off the ends. Actually, we can use one of the balloons end as a handle to hold the sculpture. If you want, we can connect both ends of the rest of one of the balloons to make a bracelet or some kind of a hat. We can use this sculpture as a toy to play many different games with balloons indoors, using diamond instead of a ball. On my website fidu.com you can find links to descriptions of many different games with the balloons. Congratulations again, we have made a diamond. Here's an example of another umbrella. I made it using different color pattern. And here's our enormous size diamond. In future instructions we are definitely going to use the same weaving technique to make different sculptures. It should be enough for today. Have fun and happy twisting!